So I hope people had a very happy Halloween weekend. It was obviously a very eventful weekend, obviously with the festivities, but there was also the weather that's going on. There was wind warnings happening all over the place. New York City had some flooding over the weekend. There was obviously the hurricane that's in the Bahamas. There was also the World Series, which was definitely a nail-biting experience coming from a Canadian perspective. I think game 7 people were on the edge of their seat, and unfortunately the title went to the Dodgers. But nonetheless, it was still a very impressive game. You know, the Toronto Blue Jays played them all, gave 110%, and unfortunately, at a split second, it wasn't clean victory. So you just gotta take it as is, and as kind of heart wrenching it is, you gotta take it for what it is. But there was also something else that raised a lot of eyebrows is, as Maggie Wise pointed out, the FBI foils an ISIS inspired Halloween terror plot with 5 arrests. A federal law enforcement source told Fox News that the Friday arrests were those tied to international terrorism. Patel expanded on the situation in a statement, noting a potential act of terror was stopped before it can unfold. The vigilance of this FBI prevented what could have been a tragic attack. So that's pretty scary. You got kids going trick or treating. You have Halloween parties. Obviously, the celebrations of Halloween is very like public. A lot of people gathering at specific locations. That's kind of nerve wracking to hear. But the thing that I took from this, and what kind of gave me that little spidey sense to look at this even further, is the fact that the FBI has had a long history of coordinating efforts to fear and trick people. This is the same FBI that coordinated people to fake a kidnapping against the Michigan governor, Gretchen Whitmer. The same FBI that's lied to us about the Charlie Kirk assassination. The same FBI that's lied to us about Epstein. The same FBI that's continuing to lie even under Kash Patel, with all the other previous administrations on top of that. The same FBI that was told about Parkland, Florida. Remember that? They were told that Parkland, Florida was about to concur, and they ignored that plea. They ignored a time when they could have actually stopped a mass shooting attack from occurring, and they ignored that. So this is where I was it was a little fishy to say that they arrested 5 people in an ISIS-inspired Halloween terror attack. It was a little fishy. Something obviously stunk with this story. But to further explain this, here's the local news affiliate. This is from ABC 7 News, and here's what they said.
Program for a breaking news alert from 7 News Detroit.
Right now, investigations are underway in at least 2 Metro Detroit cities after the head of the FBI announced that the agency thwarted a terror attack this morning in Michigan. FBI Director Kash Patel posting on social media earlier today saying multiple people were arrested this morning and claims they were plotting an attack over holiday weekend. Now, he did not say exactly where or when this attack would have taken place, but the Michigan FBI field office confirms with 7 News Detroit that the agents were in Dearborn and Inkster this morning.
They didn't know where the attack was happening, what was going to unfold, but they arrested 5 people and they knew the exact locations in Dearborn and Inkster. That's actually a place. I couldn't believe that. Inkster. Sounds like one of those Gen Z, slang words for a writer. Hey, my Inkster. Thomas Jefferson was an inkster for the Declaration of Independence. That's what it sounds like to me. But I shouldn't say anymore because I don't want to insult a town in Michigan. They're probably nice people. But that's a little strange, right? So they prevented a possible terror attack from occurring, but they don't know what the terror attack is, but they located the suspects in Dearborn and Inkster. That's to me, it's a little suspicious. It's a little sus, as the kids would say. in this regard, but let's see the rest.
Conducting what they're calling, quote, law enforcement activities. Now, they did not say what they were doing in those cities or give any details on any arrests. But we do have 7 News Detroit's Ryan Marshall, who is on Hogger Street, not far from Fordson High School in Dearborn. That's where the FBI tells us one of the raids happened this morning. Ryan, we know you've been on the scene for hours now. What can you tell us?
Well, good morning, Kiera. Yeah, we're here on the scene right now of where the FBI has raided this home near Fordson High School in Dearborn. Just moments ago, they took out what looked like, I don't know what it was, but it certainly looked to be some sort of computer component. They placed it in a car. There's the FBI evidence response team that came in and took something out of the house. Right now, they are currently in that home. It's unclear what, in fact, they're actually doing. I'm going to step out of the scene here for just a second here. FBI Director Kash Patel posted on social media earlier this morning that the agency has thwarted a potential terrorist attack and arrested multiple people who were allegedly plotting a violent attack over Halloween weekend. Now, the evidence response team is here from the FBI. The Michigan State Police Emergency Support Team also here, but it's unclear their involvement in this investigation. Now, the FBI hasn't released any additional details into when this raid actually happened, when and how specifically they believe the attack was going to go down, where it was going to take place, who specifically was involved in the planning of the attack, and who was being targeted. They've been inside this house all morning. We even saw them escort a woman out of the house not too long ago, maybe about 45 minutes ago or so. Now, we know, Kiera, that today is Halloween and thousands of people across the region will be on the streets trick-or-treating tonight. We're hoping to learn more from the FBI. One additional thing to note, that Dearborn police told 7 News Detroit they were not made aware of this FBI-conducted operations ahead of time, and they were not involved in any of the investigations. Certainly still a very fluid and active scene. As we get more information, we'll get it to you on air and online. But for now, I'm Ryan Marshall reporting live here in Dearborn near Fordson High School. We'll send it back to you, Karen.
Yeah, absolutely. Still a very active scene. We can see one of the agents coming out of the home right now. Ryan, we appreciate that report. We have team coverage for you today. We also have 7 News Detroit's Tierra Braddock, who is on the scene of what we're told was another raid in Dearborn. This one was at Middle Point Street, which is near Tyerman Avenue. So, Tierra, tell us what you're seeing there.
Yes, hello, Kiera. We're on the scene right now. Now you can see the Michigan State Patrol car right behind me. Now I did see some people with FBI vests going inside that garage right there in that home. Now it looks to be they're focused on the home where that Michigan State police car is stationed right in front. Now I did speak to a neighbor who said that at around 4:30 in the morning, her husband heard a couple loud bangs, and when they got out, they saw a lot of police presence earlier this morning. And as you can see, they are still out here. Now we're still trying to piece together exactly what they're doing at this home. We have been seeing some agents come in and out, but not too many. You can see it's just one police car right here. We're going to guess that there's some other vehicles stationed around that might be unmarked, but I have been seeing people with FBI vests walking around along with the troopers. And again, as Ryan said, as we continue to give more information, we'll be making sure to update you all at home, on air, and online. But for now, reporting live in Dearborn, Tierra Braddock, 7 News Detroit.
So this is very suspicious. It's very suspicious that the FBI raided these 2 homes in Dearborn, Michigan, and they did not inform the police. Dearborn police weren't there. You see the Michigan State Police is there. So they got the state trooper involved, finally. But the FBI did not inform any of the other policings about this. Wouldn't you think that if there was terror going in their city, that local law enforcement would also be involved in this? Wouldn't you think that'd be the case? Like, it seems so suspicious that the FBI would be the only people to swarm these two residences that they allegedly claim, they're involved in plotting a terror attack over the Halloween weekend. But they can't tell you exactly what they were planning, what part of the city they were terrorizing, or what was going to happen, but they knew exactly what locations and who to arrest. Again, I just find it very suspicious that this is, again, the same FBI that has had a long-standing history of lying to us, of manufacturing fear-mongering campaigns to scare you into submission. The same FBI that had insiders, that had informants posing as civilians to fake a kidnapping of the Michigan governor, Gretchen Whitmer. So this is where my spidey senses came in to say something was up with this. That this is not, a sigh of relief. That something was very, very fishy about this scenario. And I was maybe kind of right about this because in another news report, According to, this is from CBS 8 in Las Vegas, apparently. But they had this article where it says, Michigan lawyer says Halloween terror plot that FBI Director Kash Patel described never existed. What? What? You're telling me the FBI lied to us once again? Oh my God. What law enforcement agency, what federal agency would lie to us like that again? Next, you're going to tell me Whoopi Goldberg isn't actually her real name. Oh my God. Colored mean mildly shocked and surprised. And that's from November 2nd. So that was just yesterday. So the news broke. This tweet came out. This is from Halloween. And then on November 2nd, it's confirmed by this Michigan lawyer that this was a false flag attack. Go figure. Go figure. So into the article, says a Michigan defense lawyer is disputing FBI Director Kash Patel's allegations that his 20-year-old client and 4 other young suspects were planning to carry out a terror attack on Halloween weekend. Announcing their arrests on Friday, Patel said more information would be coming soon. Coming soon. Like it's a trailer. Like it's a trailer for a movie. Oh, more information will be leaked out soon. Instead of just saying, hey, we have this information, let's present all the evidence to you. Again, very suspicious. Very, very, very suspicious from the get-go. However, the FBI and Michigan authorities have offered few details about the case. Spokespersons for the state and national FBI and the U.S. Attorney in Detroit did not immediately respond to messages on Saturday. The investigation involved discussion in an online chat room involving at least some of the suspects who were taken into custody, according to 2 people briefed on the investigation who could not publicly discuss details. So they got 2 people who were briefed on the investigation, but they can't say any more about it. Well, how can we trust them? Who are they? Just 2 people who are briefed on the investigation. Is it me? Is it you? Is it someone in the neighborhood that was told, hey, by the way, the FBI is going to come around 4:30, act shocked and surprised? Who are these 2 people briefed on the investigation? They spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity. The group allegedly discussed carrying out an attack on Halloween, referring to Pumpkin Day, according to one of the people. The other person briefed on the investigation confirmed that there had been a pumpkin reference. However, lawyer Amir Macklild, who represents a man from the suburb of Dearborn, who was still detained on Saturday, said federal authorities haven't given him many details about the investigation, but after reviewing the matter, he concluded that no terror event was planned. He said he doesn't expect any charges will be filed. I don't know where this hysteria and this fear-mongering came from, McKell said. He described the all-male group of U.S. citizens as gamers and said they range in age from 16 to 20 years old. So what it sounds like to me is the FBI rounded up a few patsies. That's what it sounds like to me. They got a few gangsters, a bunch of loners, on Halloween that probably didn't have any plans, didn't have really social lives. They gathered them up and used them, exploited the neighborhood and exploited the nation to pretend that the FBI tracked down actual terrorists. Meanwhile, the real terrorists are the people that we're funding right now. Just to make that clear. If these young men were on the forums that they should not have been on, or things of that nature, then we would have to wait and see, McKell said. But I don't believe that there's anything illegal about any of the activity they were doing. Authorities said on Friday, after the arrests were made, that there was no further threat to public safety. Patel announced in a post on X that the FBI thwarted thwarted a potential terrorist attack and arrest multiple suspects in Michigan who were allegedly plotting a violent attack over Halloween weekend. Investigators alleged the plan was inspired by Islamic State group extremism. It wasn't immediately clear if they had the means to carry out an attack, but the reference to Halloween prompted the FBI to make arrests Friday. One of the people familiar with the investigation told the AP. Again, all these people that are familiar with the case. Not the investigators, they didn't reach out to the attorney general, they didn't get any comment from them, but just people familiar. That's what makes this so suspicious. Makes this very suspicious. Since the 9/11 terror attacks, the FBI has foiled several alleged attacks through sting operations in which agents posed as terror supporters, applying advice and equipment. Associated Press writers, blah, blah, blah. So there you go. So that FBI sting that happened in Michigan that stirred up craziness, and to think that, oh my God, there's going to be an ISIS attack, could potentially be another FBI plot. And as I said, the stink from high heaven when I heard about this, because the fact that we know the FBI has been complicit in manufacturing false attacks and these false flag incidences to make us believe that they're still credible, to make us believe that this operation, this police state, is not inflicting the pain and suffering that's doing right now, that the FBI is not doing this purposely to scare people into submission. And just like I said, this is the same FBI, the same agency that posed as civilians to fake a kidnapping of the governor. The same FBI that's lying to us about the Charlie Kirk investigation. The same FBI that's covering up Epstein. The same FBI that did January 6th. The same FBI that did not foil the attack on Parkland, Florida, after people were warning the FBI that this was a potential risk. So where was the thwarting then? And now apparently Kash Patel was able to apprehend a bunch of 16, 20-year-old gamers in Michigan for an alleged terror attack that we have no further evidence to back. No further claims, no further questions. No one's commenting on this. We don't know what they were planning. We have no idea about the home. But they stormed in. There was loud explosions. They stormed into those buildings and apprehended the suspects. So to me, it reeks of another false attack. That this was a manufactured stunt, again, to fear people, to bait people into submission of an authoritarian police state. That's been always the case. That's what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to, segregate and divide the country to make people believe that left versus right, and these people are dangerous to these people, get us paranoid, get us into fear, so that the agencies like the FBI, the CIA, NSA, Homeland Security, and so on can initialize a police state, an authoritarian rogue nation against civilians, and people would be scared to commit to it, that they'd have to comply, because otherwise, oh my God, all these terrorist attacks are going to occur, without actually further investigating to prove that these terrorist attacks were false flags. And again, if you look at the history of where ISIS and a lot of these terrorist groups come from, it goes directly back to the United States. It goes directly back to the Federal Reserves and these agencies that are funding and supplying these terrorist groups to do what? To rain havoc and terror on civilians, to again fear them, bait them, propagandize them, make them paranoid, make them segregate, make them divisive, so that they could storm in and do the worst. It's that same old trick, that divide and conquer strategy. That's what they're doing here. So, a potential terrorist attack was thwarted by Kash Patel that turned out doesn't really exist, according to further evidence, according to actually further review. So I don't know if it was Kash Patel trying to fearmonger people once again, to say that lefty lunatics and jihadists are in the midst and they're going to cause chaos, or if it was Kash Patel knowing that his popularity is sinking because of how much he botched the Charlie and Kirk investigation, because of how much he's covering for the Epstein clients, that maybe he's trying to do this to gain some credibility back. That, look, the FBI is doing their work. They just stopped a ring of terrorists in Dearborn, Michigan. I don't know what the case may be, but that's incredible. The FBI, once again, lying right to your face. Once again, to scare people into submission, to think that they're still credible.